Okay, so we've completed exercise 1. We have committed it to our repo and we're ready to go on exercise 2. So let's have a look. Exercise 2 is about syntax errors as well as linting errors. So a lot of the linting errors you're going to see are coming from syntax problems. So don't think too much about the linter. There might be some errors that are kind of useful, but let's have a look at what's going on. One of the things that's going to be a good giveaway is the syntax highlighting. This is a correctly highlighted function definition here. And so if we look here, this one looks like it's doing roughly the same thing, yet we're not getting any syntax highlighting. So let's have a read of it. So it says det get a letter. Now det doesn't mean anything, so obviously we've typed T instead of F. So there where it says T, if we change that to an F, immediately everything colors itself properly. And now we're going to start getting linter errors that matter to us too. So let's solve that linter error straight away. Expected 2 blank lines, found 1. So let's pop in extra line there, and that linter error goes away. Now, this function here has another linter error here, which means which says invalid syntax. Now, get a letter index. Let's see, we'd imagine that this function gets a letter, right? So alphabet equals string dot ASCII underscore lowercase plus a space. Now this is a bit of a trick. ASCII dot lowercase on the string returns a list of lowercase letters, but it doesn't include a space. So we take a list and we add space to that list. So we're returning a list that has an index. Now, lists are indexed with square brackets, so this square bracket is correct, whereas this round bracket here is wrong. So let's switch that to a square bracket. Oh, and we get some weird stuff from the editor, so we delete all that extra stuff. And now we have a list with an index that's indexed in here. Okay, so that seems to have solved that problem. Now, I can just keep going looking at things because I know what I'm looking for, but let's see if we can find out ways of finding out what we're looking for. So if we press Control-Shift-B, that will run the code in your editor, and we can see now that it's got a little caret here pointing to where the error is, and it's the same place as this error here, the linter error. So it says statement ends with a semicolon. Now we're not in Java, so we don't need to end statements with semicolons, but we do start indented blocks with regular colons. So if we replace that with a normal colon, which is hard to see because it's only 1 pixel different, then that error goes away. Okay, so we can move on. We press escape to get rid of the results. We can have a look at this. So let's try running that again, see if we get another error. Okay, invalid syntax again, pointing to this bit here where we've got this here. So indices is a list, and lists are values, like numbers here in this case, they're all numbers, separated by commas, and we've got a colon instead of a comma. So let's swap that for a comma, and now we have a good list. All happy. Right. Now that line doesn't have any problems, but what we do know is that maps return lists. Okay, so word array, and this confused a lot of people, including me, when I was looking at it yesterday because I'd forgotten how I wrote it. But word array is a list, and we can't call a list. So if we run, we see what the errors are here. We say invalid syntax here. Now one of the problems is that sometimes the error message shows up a bit later than the actual error. So word array is actually a list, so we want to swap this bit for list index, which is square brackets rather than round brackets. So much the same as we were doing above, we want to put in square brackets, and the same here, wrong type of brackets, which want to unify them all as square brackets. And now we're indexing into that list, so we're making a word array, and it's got 4 words, 0, 1, 3, and 0, 1, 3. Now I can't really remember what's going on here, but let's see what we can see. And we can run that and find out what's going on. missing white space around operator, and we're getting we're getting an error message here where it's highlighting here as well. So syntax error, invalid syntax. Now that doesn't match the lines above it, so we've got to kind of work out why. In this case, it's just because it's a straight up error. So we need regular brackets, regular round brackets, and then the error goes away. Okay, let's fix this error. Missing white space around operator, so space, space, and that goes away. And then we're getting a syntax error down here. So we've got an equality comparison, so equals equals, and that is supposed to be like that. And so that's good. Now the next error comes up as a warning for some reason, undefined name. So what that means is that it's looking for a thing called prin, but we haven't defined a thing called prin. It's not an error. Python won't complain about this until we run it and it can't find prin. But actually we know we want to print. So let's print and then look for errors. There's no linter errors and there's no syntax errors. So let's try running it. Here we go. So now it prints out MC Hammer twice. So it's because it's printing it here and it's printing it here as well. Okay, so that seems to be everything we need to do for exercise 2. I'm going to cut here and then I'll do another little video of running the tests on it.